What are the advantages and disadvantages of being a studio director for hire?
Advantages and disadvantages of being a director for hire. The big advantage is that you get a paycheck and you get residuals and you can live on that and be a filmmaker full time, which is huge, and there's nothing negative about that. The negatives are that you have very little influence especially with TV, in the creative development process, because you are the director. You're not seen as the filmmaker necessarily, but you're hired to do the focused task of directing, and the development has been done by the writers and by the showrunners and by the blah, 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 blah. And then it's a total lottery if you run into great executives that are super smart. And I've had that where I constantly think, wow, I haven't thought about it that way. That's amazing, where they're a real asset to the project. Or if you run into people that must be friends of a friend of someone that hired them, have no idea about story structure, no real interest in story structure, but sometimes just like to hear themselves talk, or have to give notes because that is their job, and you always have to work around the notes. You can't just say, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. No, we're not doing that. You always have to say, okay, this is how we are addressing blah, blah, blah. And a lot of it then becomes politics. You're suddenly halfway a diplomat trying to protect the project against notes that you clearly feel are harmful, while giving the executive the feeling that they have a positive impact on the project, which you don't have to deal with in independent filmmaking. So it's really a clear trade-off. They give you the money to do something, which is extremely comfortable, not having to raise money to make your movie, which bogs you down in independent filmmaking. But they want to be heard, and there's a whole hierarchy of people that want to be heard with different tastes, different visions. So if in independent filmmaking you try to get your team to make the same movie, in a studio movie you have to get the executives and your team to make the same movie, which is sometimes twice as many people and makes it harder.